this morning, Nigerians encourage corruption, cites June 1st of the Punch newspaper. America's Nigerian Governors Forum calls for Okonjo Iweala's resignation. Page 2 of the Punch newspaper. The dailies every day on CORETV News.
All right, it's a beautiful Friday morning in the city of Lagos. Thanks for joining us. It's Core Digest on CORETV News, where we'll give you top issues making the rounds. We'll begin the program this morning with the dailies, and I'm being joined by Gift Ogete. Gift, good morning.
Good morning, Brownson. We do apologize. This is coming rather late, but it's better late than never.
That's what they say anyway.
Good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show. It's Core Digest, and we'll start with the segments, the dailies, where we take a look at what the papers have got to say.
All right.
What do you have there? Let's quickly do this.
Okay, and we have the first paper I'm looking this morning is Vanguard newspaper. Lots of headlines, and the first one says APC begins search for a candidate's replacement, and still on Vanguard newspaper, Jonathan visits Chibok and the troops today. That's barely after a month, after a lot of things had gone down in that part of the state. The president has decided to visit Chibok at last.
I actually commend this move. It's like I did say earlier, it's better late than never. It's good that he's going to Chibok. At least let him go see things for himself.
Okay, GOC redeploy after soldiers mutiny in Borno. Defense Headquarters Institute military panel of inquiry. And still on the Punch, Ibori has case to answer. This is coming from appeal court, upturning the first judge's judgment that he has no case to answer. That I know a lot of people want to react to that.
Well, why is it coming now? I mean, why didn't we have him pay for it the first time? Let's go to The Nation. Federal government played politics with girls' abduction. That's coming from Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima. He spoke to CNN's Christine Amampo in London yesterday, and he did say that government played politics with girls' abduction. It's not true, says NOA chief. This is a National Orientation Agency here, and the chief, Mike O'Mary. And ACF alleges hidden agenda. ACF, Arewa Consultative Forum, alleges hidden agenda. And Jonathan for Chibok. What do you make of Governor Shettima saying the federal government played politics with girls' abduction? You
know, of course, you should know that a lot of people have linked the whole Boko Haram thing to political. As a matter of fact, people even feel that even the emergency rule being extended, it's a credit to PDP. Owing to the fact that if the emergency rule extends, there may not be elections. The 3 states involved are APC states. And if that happens after the elections, after the February elections, the PDP will have time to look at these 3 states and, of course, win these 3 states. It is an allegation. So everything is being linked to politics. But I think rather than all this, we should really consider life than the whole political ambition.
True, true. Reps OK emergency extension. Still talking about the emergency rule in the 3 states, Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno. I think, what do you think? I mean, the first time, did it yield any meaningful result?
That same question Nigerians have been asking, because it was still during the emergency rule that the over 200 girls were abducted. And it looked like the emergency rule opened up a lot of things. The Boko Haram really attacked this part of the area.
But again, we do not have emergency rules in the state. What should we be doing as it concerns these states? You know,
one of the problems I have now is that the current emergency rule extension has not really been defined, because people are already clamoring for it to be an absolute emergency rule, not partial, where we see have the governor doing something. If government want to take over, they should take over fully. And that's, for me, I think that's what will really work. Even though Governor Shettima has said that it's like a declaration of war to his state, that his state should be exempted from it. But, of course, it has been passed.
To tame the insurgency really should be taken up seriously, because it's really, getting to the peak.
Absolutely.
Panic in Lagos over bomb. Please, Nema, it's not true. I can imagine that was on the island yesterday, I guess. I can imagine what happened in Lagos.
I think Lagosians should be very careful. If you remember sometime, I think last Friday precisely, there was this rumor that some group of gunmen kidnapped a particular school student somewhere in Munshi or something. I can't really recall the area. And now there's another rumor of bomb. I think...
No, this is not true. This is not true. But I actually...
The both stories are not true. Even the kidnap story wasn't true. So I think Lagosians should be sensitized.
Yeah, but I actually commend their efforts. I mean, if they see anything strange, they should raise an alarm, whether it's true or whether it's not true. I mean, if it's not true, God forbid, he shouldn't be true tomorrow.
But sorry, so before you move on, you also have to know that by the time when we start raising false alarm, Nigerian police at a point we want to start dragging their feet when the true thing comes up.
Well, but again, they did see something, and of course they should, you know, they should begin to ask what's that and what's not that, because from you know what I read that they saw a man drive past giving beggars 1,000 naira, and he dropped something and all. Well, different versions of the story anyway, but I can imagine one went down yesterday on the island.
Of course. All right, moving on. Okay, are you done with the nations?
Yes, we're done with the nation.
Okay, moving on from the nations to the Punch newspaper. The big headline: Jonathan visits Chibok 1 month after abduction. And of course, US blasts FG, 6 sanctions against Boko Haram. FG blind, deaf and dumb. That's coming from Borno State governor. And government attacked 2 Bauchi schools, kill 1. And I think the big news in the news has to do with the military punity. Army removes GOC 7 division. Of course, that went down in Borno. You can get that story in page 2, 7, and 12.
That was a lot of guts.
Punch newspaper. Yes, I think it was.
A lot of guts, because I mean, you do not react. You're supposed to take orders here.
But it's a case of bushmeat hunting the hunter. All right, still on the Punch newspaper, Nigerians to pay more for electricity. That's coming from federal government gift. I don't know if you're excited about this.
Yeah, well, I'm I'm not excited completely, but again, like I will continue to say that it has improved in my area as it has to do with power, and I would not mind paying more if it remains that way. But again, I shouldn't be paying for what I will not see. So, yes, I completely agree. If the power will remain the way it is right now in my area, I do not mind paying more. Okay, all right. Still at the Punch newspaper, I'm sure Nigerians don't want to go with you. Appeal court overturned Ibori's acquittal, and there's this sad story here. Immigration officer battered by immigration officers. Batter, Unical lecturer. I think that story has to do with the fact that the guy said his car got spoiled somewhere around the Nigerian Immigration Office headquarters around Cross River States. And after fixing the vehicle and tried to move, immigration guy said he did a U-turn around there, and then they beat him, removed 4 of his front tooths. A very sad one there. I think sometimes these guys need to, you know, really see Nigerians as they are, you know, sometimes they say police is a friend, but if things like this happen, but though this is not from police, but then all the force have to be sensitized. Now, very interesting. On the Punch newspaper, you see very exciting pictures. I think this picture really brought some level of hope. People thought these girls were dead, but what we saw here shows that some parents and some school students are able to recognize some of their friends. Yes, and it's well, like you did say, it gives some form of hope that at least the girls are alive. Absolutely. But again, my worry is from the video, we do not have all the girls there. Where are the rest? I think time will tell. All right, on this segment of the program, let's move straight to, we have some guests joining us today on the program, and of course that would be doing justice to some of the things we would be looking at. Nigerian Army, I think it was surprising 2 days ago when some set of army revolted against their boss, so to say. And there have been a lot of reactions coming to that. Gbola Oba is joining me, the public affairs commentator, as well as Fred Nzeako, a barrister, as well as public affairs analyst, joining us this morning. Good to have you on the program. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Good to have you, sirs. And let me quickly add that you can drop your comment on our Facebook page. It's facebook.com/CORETV News. And of course, on Twitter at CORETV News NG. You can always join us, share your thoughts, and we'll have it read out.
Okay, straight to move into the program. But let's react to some of the headlines on the newspaper. I think the one that really caught my attention is the fact that Jonathan visits Chibok 1 month after abduction. Let me start from Nzeako. A lot of people have said Jonathan should have visited the scene before now. Do you think it's rather late?
Well, it's rather late, but it's better late than never. And you may not blame the president for not visiting Chibok earlier than now, because the mindset of the government has always been that it possibly was a hoax. Government, from security report that government had received over time, did not give impression that there was actually the kidnap of the girls, because of the governor of Borno State was talking from both sides of his mouth. All these circumstances surrounding the abduction did not give a straight and clear-cut indication that the girls were actually abducted. So the government would not rushing down to Chibok. The president would not begin to go to Chibok under such smoke, under that such a circumstance where everything is shrouded in secrecy and disbelief. But now that it has become obvious that the girls were really abducted, though even as we speak, some people still believe that the girls were abducted but not missing. Even with the video release by Boko Haram. Yes, that the girls, abducted but not missing.
But then, what's the difference now? Abducted but not missing.
Missing if they are actually held by Boko Haram. Not missing if they are kept somewhere. That is conspiracy theory, and some people still hold that belief up till now. But now that it is obvious that these girls were abducted, and now that the whole world, the international community, has turned the whole satellite towards Nigeria, it is important that the president visits Chibok, at least to solidarize with the people, to let the people know that Nigeria has not forgotten them, and that the whole world has not forgotten them, and to kind of give them some compassion, and then a strong reassurance from the president that the girls will be brought back home safe and sound. So that is the message. So I don't believe it is too late in time, although it would have been better if it was earlier. But I had explained the circumstances why the president did not rush down to Chibok. It was not a natural disaster. It's an occurrence that has been long in coming. But
then it was also noticed that after the whole controversy of not being sure if these girls were actually abducted, yes, we've been seeing protests in the past 3 weeks, and then a lot of people still feel at that point president would have made move.
Even as at the time people were protesting, many people believed that the international community was being sold a dummy, until parents started identifying their loved ones in that video. If parents did not begin to identify people, don't forget the fact that all efforts made by federal government to get the assistance and the assurance by the state government was rebuffed. Even the effort made by the first lady on a fact-finding mission was not handled well by the officers of Borno State government. So the whole world would have been agitating, yes, but they would have been agitating wrongly until it became very obvious. Don't forget the fact that until you can't release the names of the girls, Borno State government did not release the names. The teachers themselves did not release the names. So how would security agencies begin to work in the absence of vital information that will assist in their operations?
No, let me come to you, Mr. Gbola. The Borno State's Governor Kashim Shettima did say spoke to CNN Christine Amanpour that government played politics with the girls' abduction, and of course you've tried to clarify that at the beginning it wasn't so clear. Do you think he is trying to pass the ball here? Don't you see him
before, sorry.
I had to wake up very early because I'm coming to this privileged platform. And you know,
that.
when you wake up very early, your voice gets croaky. All the frogs I bind in the name of CORETV. Anyway, the greatest disservice you people will be doing me this morning is to put me at a direct intellectual and argumentative confrontation with my dearly beloved barrister Nzeako. Somebody I respect a lot, a mentor, and I do want to disagree. His opinion is quite based on good facts, the visible facts to ourselves, to people like us who are members of the Nigerian public. But it becomes very, very disturbing when you are talking about the president of Nigeria, who is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and indeed the ultimate security chieftain of this country. A country that has recognized intelligence infrastructure. If somebody is chasing the rabbit that my friend intellectually chased so well, then I'm a very disturbed man. I'm a disturbed man because we are saying that our intelligence community in a couple of days could not give the president and the presidency a pungent, concise, reliable information that indeed what took place was real. And two, the most disturbing part of me, you see, it's easy for us to come on TV, people like myself and himself, and be speaking grammar about what is happening in Nigeria now. But we are in a serious mess. We are in a serious mess because we are practically and graphically seeing a country in gradual atrophy, disintegration. Nigerian army, one of the most, when I was a boy in Mushi, going to school, one of my ambitions was to become an officer of the Nigerian army. Because it was one institution in the 70s that you could see as being the perfect exemplar of what Nigeria should be. The same Nigerian army we have soldiers. Whilst the general officer in command of a division was talking, soldiers shooting in the air.
That brings us to the topic of the day, because we'll be looking at the revolt of this Nigerian army to
before we get to the revolt, my brother, before you see the symptom of a disease, there would have been some invisible occurrences inside the skin. If you see eczema, my brother, if you see cancer, there must have been some discordant hormonal and other biological notes inside the skin before you see the manifestation. Before we see the mutiny, a respected barrister at law is now telling us, and that is the argument that the presidency has been flogging all along, that for some days, bordering on almost 2 weeks, the president of Nigeria could not be given reliable information by all the machinery of state.
What do you sense? What do you sense? What's the Arewa Consultative Forum has said has alleged a hidden agenda, and I think that's the part.
So you see, I don't want to get into the political brickbat of it. It's easy for politicians to point fingers across the world. I was a politician in England. I tell people, I was a politician who contested election on the platform of the Conservative Party, a major party in England, and sometimes I know how you just want to pick political advantage from issues like this. But in respectable societies like England, where I lived for so many years, when it comes to the issue of securities, the politicians will bring themselves together, talk to themselves, and let themselves know that you don't play politics with security issues. Because when you play politics with security issues, you are practically playing the state to the hand of of the rebellious element, in this case, the terrorists, we will find it difficult to annihilate the same Nigerian army that went to Liberia, the same Nigerian army that went to Sierra Leone, unknown topography, and whacked two terrorist groups. That same Nigerian army is the one fighting on his own terrain here, and it is because our politicians have not gotten it right. On the two sides, on all the politicians, I have not seen any politician that gladdens my heart in the way they've spoken about this issue.
Let me hold you there for a moment, sir. Sir, let me come to you, Barrister. Looking at the revolt of this Nigerian army, would you describe that as a mutiny?
What is a mutiny in the first instance? A mutiny, let me just explain it for the interest of our viewers who may not know. The command structure of the military requires that you obey the last command. You don't ask questions, you will take orders and you act on orders. It is presumed that your commander or your superior who has given such command has adequate knowledge and has adequate capacity to issue such command, and that such command will be in the best and overall interest of the system, which also includes your own safety. And when such command runs foul of your own opinion, you swallow your own opinion and obey the command. At any time you disobey that command, it is taken to be a very big crime in the military. And at any time you now do anything to destabilize the command or the instruction of the superior, it is seen as a mutiny. So mutiny is like, whether you call it protest, whether you call it any effort to disturb the system, is a mutiny. And because of the command structure of the military, it is not taken lightly at all. In this case, there are several accounts of what happened. Some accounts say that the official vehicle of the GOC was shot at, that the men fired his vehicle. We don't know whether the GOC was in that vehicle at the point of the firing or not. Another account said that the GOC was addressing the men because he went to sympathize with them on account of the death of some of their colleagues. And then they released shot in the air, which means, shut up, I could kill you. That is the message. And that is mutiny. And that tells you, once there is mutiny, it means that the men have disobeyed their superior. The men have protested in one way or the other that is not in line with the structure of the command system, and that the men can even kill their superior.
In this case, what's the implication?
The implication is that, one, there is very big trouble in the military, especially with respect to that command, that 7th Mechanized Division, which is in charge of Borno and the rest of the allied states where there is state of emergency. The president has said that there are Boko Haram elements not only in the military system, but also in his cabinet. Now, the GOC has been transferred. We don't know to where he was sent to. But he will not stop there. Because the reason that led to such mutiny must be thoroughly investigated. That he gave, the feelers we are getting, is that he gave instruction as a commander that caused the death of 10 soldiers. And the leader of that battalion, who is a lieutenant colonel. A lieutenant colonel in the army is a senior military officer whose life must be protected at all costs. And then the men felt so bad that he gave instruction, he gave a command instruction that did not take care of their own safety. And that even when they raised objection subtly that it was not safe for them to go back to Maiduguri from Chibok at that point in time, and that he overruled them. And on their way back, they were attacked. And they lost 10 soldiers. The first spokesman said 5 soldiers and the lieutenant colonel. And the men felt very, very bad. So it was their own way of telling the military high command that this man is either incompetent or a fifth columnist in the system. And that's it. So in the course of investigation, the commander, the GOC himself, will also be investigated, not just the soldiers, because they have to find out the fundamental and root cause of his action and decision.
All right, let me come to you now, Mr. Gbola. Now, these military guys felt betrayed, and they felt like they were being sent to the war front to lose their lives. Would you want to agree with some of their arguments?
Before I post my direct response to your very intelligent question, I really want to give one little historical allusion here. The first Christian missionary societies, evangelists to live in one of the first Christian missionary society evangelists to come to the southwest of Nigeria. I read his book, I think about 2 years ago or 1 year ago. And he lived in a city, in a Yoruba city that is now extinct as a result of the then internecine wars of the Yorubas between the Ibadan and the Ijaye. He lived in Ijaye. You may not know Ijaye. The Ijaye you hear now is where the people who ran away from that Ijaye went to. And the leader of that Ijaye then was the most powerful Yoruba general, Kurumi Are Onokakanfo. The account of that missionary was that even when the staff of office of Kurumi was being taken on the road, people would bow and tremble, and you dare not talk to the person holding the staff. If it has gotten to the point where even if the GOC was not in the vehicle, if it has gotten to the point where soldiers could have the temerity to be shooting at the recognized vehicle of their GOC, we need to do something, and do something dramatic. My sister, not only the military, indeed our political leadership across all the divides must really sit down now and get to understand the fact that if they fail to do something as fast as possible, they may lose the glory of this democratic dispensation that we have to hand, and they will regret it. And I'm talking as a Nigerian who knows the difference between what I've seen since 1999. We may be criticizing them as loafers, as embezzlers, as whatever. But any critically minded Nigerian who can juxtapose what has happened between 1999 today relative to what the military boys took us through in 30-something years, we know that there's a difference between fantasy and fanta. So, to come to your question now, I want to agree totally with the analysis both in law and in rationalization of my dear friend in his last point. But in agreeing with him, I want to take it further to say the facts say that the ex-Wild GOC who has been moved now, has been moved to Abuja. We don't know the new command they will give him. We don't know what will come after they've set up a military board of investigation, because they know too. Indeed, the chief of defense staff and the chief of army staff, they know the implication of what has happened. Because it could have been that GOC that they were shooting, at his vehicle, or shooting, into the air, but it could have been them if they were to swap places with him. But you see, the core fact here is that the men of the service in that division and maybe middle-ranking officers have lost faith in the leadership of an institution that is built, like he has lucidly explained, on command and control system. My sister, even you journalists, people like us, the Chatarati, the Talking Club, we must get to know now that it has passed play, and our politicians must be enjoined across the divide, must be enjoined to be very sober.
What's the signal is sending to the international community? I mean, they are here to help us out, and we are already having issues within ourselves. Please before do me the honor. If you were the commander-in-chief of the American forces and you want to send some of your officers
before you become an officer in any army, even in Nigerian army, millions of hard-earned money, foreign currency must have been spent on you before you become like a captain. Even as a Kurundu, good money has been spent on you. Then, if you were an American president wanting to send some of your officers to help the Nigerian army, would you not now tell your chief of defense staff and your chief of army staff that they must tell the boys to be ultra vigilant, because it does seem that within the ranks of the Nigerian army there are fifth columnists, or there is some degree of disintegration? Some of those who have given us promises as recently as some couple of days ago may even rescind on those promises if they see what is happening now. That is the implication.
Where does that leave us?
The immediate implication is that there is a quick reaction from America in which they have said that they will not share top secret information with Nigerian military on this issue, on this campaign. That they will not share sensitive and vital information, operational information in this campaign with Nigerian military. That tells you it's a statement of mistrust, because the very moment that information gets to them, it leaks out.
They don't know the integrity of the intelligence.
Of the intelligence system. They have no faith in the integrity of our intelligence system. So, and that means that even as they are coming with caution.
Ultra caution.
Ultra caution.
And
the information we have is that the men say they know the camp of Boko Haram. That immediately they were attacked because they were coming back from Chibok to Maiduguri, and they were attacked on the way. They lost an officer, their commander, a lieutenant colonel, and 10 men. Out of anger, they invaded Boko Haram camp and killed over 200.
Which means their boys can handle them.
You understand what I'm talking about?
If the system allows them.
You understand what I'm talking about? And killed over 200.
My sister.
And killed over 200.
Facts are there.
The government official spokespeople are bringing it down to 60. But the independent information...
Let's even say 60.
Yes.
We lost 10 as a result of
that immediately they regrouped
and our boys
attacked Boko Haram camp and killed over 200 of them. That tells you, one, they know where the Boko Haram camp is. Two, they have the capacity to annihilate them. And three, they can do it.
So what has been holding them all this while?
What is keeping them is what has caused them mutiny.
When a dog barks at the owner, you are the owner. You are the one that gives it food. So you are the one that should supposedly be giving it food. You are the one that should supposedly be stoking it. A dog, when it barks at the owner,
something is wrong.
My sister,
something is wrong.
The followership across all strata and sectors of this country is feeling betrayed with the kind of leadership we are getting.
Interesting. We're already having tweets and Facebook comments coming, but we'll quickly take a break. When we come back, we'll take those tweets and Facebook comments. We still have our guest in the studio, and when we return from the news, we will be continuing this discussion. Do not forget, you can drop your comments on our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/CoreTV News, and of course on Twitter at CoreTV News NG. We'll take a break now, Brownson.
All right, so go for the news, and when we come back, more questions to be answered.
Stay with us.
From time immemorial, women have birthed life, shaped character, and by extension, influenced the society. Moremi of Ife, Emoten of Benin, Queen Aminat of Zaria, all women of influence and power.
Whether it's before election, after election.
How ironical. Women being so powerful, yet have few grounds in decision making.
They see you as a wife, and I see you as a wife to a man.
We are talking women in politics.
A woman will be bold enough to stand up and say, I want to become president of Nigeria.
only on CORETV News.